Oh boy. All right, here we go. It's exactly 10:30 Tuesday, 2 days before the start of the NFL. We got Bills Rams Thursday night. Yeah, man, I told you guys I'd get a video out for this league. This is my second video in 3 days. We posted one for our Dynasty League just 3 days ago. And that's pretty good. And now we're getting another one out. So I mean, previously it was 9 years since the video before that. So I mean, I feel like we're doing pretty good. I think I doubled my subscriber count. We had two or three before. Now we're at six. So subscriber count's looking real good. Man, even half the video or half the views on this video that my 9-year-old video had. So not too shabby there either. Yeah, I might have been half of them. I mean, but no one needs to know that. I mean, yeah, that's fine. I watched this one all the way through. I only watched this one halfway through. So videos are getting better and more frequent. So you gotta like to see that. So that's pretty sweet. But yeah, so today is going to be a recap of the draft we just did 2 days ago. And I am going to go team by team. I don't know how long I want to spend on each team. I guess it's going to depend on the team. Some teams I might talk a little longer. Some teams I might just kind of gloss over and say a couple sentences about them. But that's what we're going to do today. So if you notice, I did wait till today because there were waivers this morning. So right on the screen right now, if you're looking, there were a fair amount. I mean, for the week not or the league or NFL not starting yet. So I mean, we've already got. I mean, to be expected, Trev. I'll show you what his team looks like now, but it needed a serious makeover. And he did. He addressed it. He made his abomination of a draft not so bad. So yeah, I got involved a little bit. Looks like Kurt and Thompson did as well. So there were some moves already. So we are rocking and rolling with this year already. Yeah, I mean, probably very necessary pickups for Trev. But yeah, I'm gonna go team by team. Let's look at the league home real quick. So that was just the pickups, and then I thought this was funny. So just from those pickups alone, this little projection thing has already swapped. It already moved Trev up 2 spots. He was 14th right after the draft. I don't know. I mean, this thing's kind of one thing that I actually like from ESPN is this projection, this whatever final standing projections. Um, I don't know. It's. I mean, there's really nothing else to go off of right now. So I'm just looking at this. It doesn't mean crap, but it's a number that I can put on a team. So I just thought it was funny that with those random people that Trevor picked up, he already moved up 2 spots. Since Kurt also picked someone up, it looks like she stayed the same, and then somehow that pushed her ahead of Rye. So actually, Trev's already up 2 spots. He's a big riser. Look at that, rising. Trev up two and trending down. Hypno Toad, man, maybe I love it. I love this right here. Maybe this team needs a Snickers. So if you guys see Rye, talk to Rye. Prayers up for the Hypno Toad because he's down at 14, not where you want to be. But honestly, if having said all that, honestly, I thought this year, just looking at all the teams now, I've sat on it for 2 days, and I've taken a decent look at everyone's team, and I do feel like this year compared to others of years past, it does seem like this year everyone has, if things go right with everyone's team, which that this seems obvious, but if things go right for people's team, like I think everyone's got a shot at really winning it. Like there's no team that really just absolutely tanked where projections are in the 90s or something. Like everyone's got like pretty good projections. And just like every year for fantasy, if they can just keep their guys healthy, I think we all have a shot. At winning it, and I'm looking forward to that. I think let's just go like kind of reverse order here. I don't want to talk about my team first, so instead I'll just kind of put my team at the end. So we'll just go kind of off this to begin, and then I don't know towards the middle I'll just kind of pick whoever I haven't picked yet. But so let's just start with Trev. He was 14 to start, and then Kurt, Ryan, etc. We'll go down the line. So let's just do a little bit on each team. I'll maybe talk a little bit of shit. I know I got some comments on my last video that was just felt like a little too reserved. Maybe you could go be a little bit more towards the side of Skip Bayless and kind of put yourself out there a little bit. I'm sure that just opens me up for late criticism down the road, but whatever. We're just having fun here, so I hope no one gets too triggered by anything I say. It's all in good fun. So I'm just messing around and we're just having fun here. So just that's kind of a little disclaimer. I'll hopefully say I'll probably say something bad about every team. I'll probably say something good about every team. So um, just kind of fuck. I was the Sacco last year, so who cares what I say? I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. So let's just go to Trev's team real quick. I mean, this team it was tough to look at. Right after the draft, it was just it was something. But I mean, Trev's team. So just in classic Trevor fashion, he went the stars and scrubs. It seems that's if you've been around the league, Trevor does the stars and scrubs strategy. He spends his money right away, pretty much as fast as he possibly can, and then just hangs out the rest of the draft. Also, side note, thank you guys for it seems like we had like minimal issues with this draft. Everyone was there on time. Only a couple pauses, which were more on the end of the ESPN just being garbage. So I do appreciate that. So just wanted to throw that in there. But anyways, yeah. So Trev's team, he got Jonathan Taylor and he got Cup, and I'll even throw Pitts in there as far as he kind of got we can call that three number ones. The number one running back, arguably number one receiver, and maybe arguably the number one tight end. And Kyle Pitts, I think, is supposed to be, he's going to have a great year this year. So, but then Trevor's team, it just kind of falls off a cliff after that. I mean, he got Brady. He's going to have Brady. He's going to get Brady every single year. I mean, until he retires. I'd be actually curious who Trevor's, going to draft once Tom Brady is gone, once he retires. I don't know who Trevor's quarterback's going to be. He might just have to retire himself. I don't know. But so basically Trevor's really just banking on those three or four guys to just absolutely carry. Um, and I mean, and Daryl Henderson, he seems to be rising. He's really seeming to rise. As of recently, closer to Cam Akers, because that might be more of like, you know, I don't know. We don't really know what Sean McVay is going to do on that Rams offense as far as running backs go. So. Um, I don't know. I mean that he might have gotten a little bit of a steal, luckily there with with Henderson, because I feel like he actually might have been a little bit of a undervalued guy there. Well, I don't know what he go for. He went for $10. I mean, I don't know. That probably seems about right, but I don't know. It feels like he actually might be decent. I'm just kind of I don't know giving Trev some decent props on that Henderson pick, but I feel like that there also probably wasn't much available, at that time too. So, and then Thielen's a solid wide receiver too, and then he just picked up AJ Green off waivers, and that's another, Trev guy. Feels like AJ Green is, and he'll be decent off the start. He picked up Mike Davis and AJ Green both just here in the off the waiver wire. So those two guys seem like, AJ Green and Mike Davis, those seem like guys that, might be good for like, I don't know, a couple weeks here in the beginning, but like as, that Baltimore backfield becomes more healthy and like Dobbins and, Gus Edwards get healthy, so Mike Davis might not be much, later on in the year. So, and I think same goes to AJ Green. You got, DeAndre Hopkins coming back, off his suspension later. So, he's gonna have to kind of figure it out as the year goes on. But that's just Trev's team, and he was 14th, and I think with good reason, from that little projection thing. So, let me. That's all I'm going to say for Trev's team. I don't know if it deserves any more time than what I probably put more time than what it needed here. It's actually making me sick just continuing to stay on this page. So let's go on to the next one. Let's go to Kurt. She was 13th on here. I just love Kurt's hot dog logo. That's great. The big thing I wanted to say with Kurt's team was, I mean, I really love her young running backs with Javonte Williams, Damian Pierce. I'm sure everyone probably had them, on their little, on their sheet as guys that they wanted to, wanted to possibly get if they could, because those seem like, very like breakout guys that for this season. And I don't know as far as deals go. I have no idea what they went for. What Damian Pierce go for? He went for $20. I mean, so it's up there, and the Houston offense kind of blows. Let's be honest, like it sucks. But at the same time, Damian Pierce and Williams should be great. I mean, I think those guys will be at least fun at the very least, and high upside guys. So that's fun. The big question mark is quarterback, and that was one of her moves that she made. Looks like this morning was she added Jameis Winston. So I mean, that's just you know good insurance. That was probably a good move to pick him up. Maybe even might probably even the starter maybe over Justin Fields. I guess she could play matchups, do what she wants there. But she got her Cowboys. She got CD Lamb. She's got her Cowboys. She got that taken care of. And then I always like having I think this wide receiver three spot. I think you'll see on a lot of teams. It's kind of like try to get that guy that has potential, like some upside, and it's a lot of rookies. It seems like that people have in this wide receiver three spot, or just young guys with breakout potential. So Drake London there. Atlanta's offense, they got to throw the ball to someone. So I think Drake London there could be sweet. And then, I don't know, bench wise, I don't know if there's anyone there I really want to talk about, but it's fine. It'll make do with what she needs. But I really like. I mean, Mixon's solid. I just talked about CD Lamb. Pierce is good. Is a great flex. I don't know how many people have running backs as their flex. I mean, so it's definitely nice. Just kind of, I looked through like how many running backs and receivers people have, and seems like obviously I think most people have a wide receiver in that flex spot, but so I think if you could have a decent running back for that spot, it feels good. I don't know if there's anything to that, but for me it feels good to have a running back there, or as long as they're decent. And I think she's got that. So we'll see about MVS. I don't know. Kansas City, you can't go wrong with Kansas City receiver, but they also have a lot of receivers there. So who's it going to be, and what week is it going to be that Scantling goes off? You just don't know. But so quarterback for her, I think her team's going to go. As far as Fields and Winston could possibly take them. And I think their other guys will hold up fine. So yeah, that's Kurt's team. 13, whatever on the projection, but I think she'll be fine. I think her team looks solid. All right, so now let's go to Rise team. Let's go to Rise team. So he fell, like it said, to 14. I mean, I will show you, but I feel like I really like, especially his bench. His bench for sure, and his three receivers are just so much fun. With Justin, he's got Cousins to Jefferson. He's got a great stack there. It wouldn't be right if Ryan didn't have Cousins and Justin Jefferson. So I mean, and then I think those three receivers can really carry him. Those are three fun guys that can go off. And then and Juju too as his flex. But what I wanted to kind of point out for Rye's team was just I felt like all of his bench guys are just guys that have are just most of them are young, or all of them except for Hopkins, I should say. And once Hopkins comes back, that's just another guy that's gonna just make his team that much better. Just midway through the season. So if Rye can just get off to just a not an awful start, like I think he'll be fine, especially once Hopkins comes back, and some of these young guys potentially like Pacheco on Kansas City, or Wandale Robinson, or Palmer, like Carter, all of them. Like I said, all of his bench seem like good upside guys, and I bet they probably didn't have for ESPN's algorithm that they do for that stupid thing I keep referencing. They probably don't check out well for that, but I feel like they're guys that as the season progresses, Ryan's team is going to keep getting better. So I do really like Ryan's team. And then I think if you were over at Nick and Katie's for the draft, like we were all kind of talking about Ramondre Stevenson, like we like him, and I think he's going to be fun and a good player. And I like both of the Cleveland running backs, Kareem and Chubb, this year. I feel like they're just going to run a ton, and I think both of those players are going to do great. So I have no problems with Rye's team, and like I said, I think everyone's team is very capable of doing of winning it, honestly. Projections 102. That's right there. Everyone's like, it seems like most people are right between like 102 to 112 or 13, somewhere in there. So everyone's got really close projections. Nothing crazy outside of that, but yeah, Rise team's good. I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything else. Cole Kmet. I mean, a lot of people were talking about him too, as far as kind of another breakout guy for the Bears, because someone's got to catch passes there, and I think that's a good, having your tight end as someone that could potentially catch a lot of passes is what you want to have. So I really do like Ryan's team, and it seems like it's almost like the opposite of my team. Like, well, as I'll show you later, because my receivers are terrible. So that's Rye's team. I can't stand his logo. If he could just change that, otherwise I'm going to get a headache. But let's go on to the next person. I see. I don't know. At this point, I'm just going to kind of go to whoever. I don't remember what the order of that thing was. So let's just go to Kalen's team here. Okay, so Kalen's team. I'm trying to think of what sticks out to me. I mean, Najee and Connor as his running backs. Those are solid guys there. Debo, Amon-Ra, and Russell Gage. I don't love his wide receiver three, and then Singletary at his flex. I'm not sure how much I love that. Um, but I think he also has guys on his bench as far as receivers go that can fill that spot in, as far as Romeo Dubs or Sky Moore, Michael Gallup once he gets healthy. Like, those three guys seem like guys that you could easily slot into the like wide receiver three and flex spot. So I like some of those bench guys he has there. Just I really like when you have. It seems like your bench just needs to be guys with high upside that can fill in, if it's later on in the year, or if they're just young guys that we don't really know much about, but they could, or they're in different situations than they were last year, like it changed teams or something. And I think with Dubs and Sky Moore there, like on his bench, those would be great guys to throw in later on if one of them pops. Um, so yeah, I mean, A-Raj, I mean, he said he was going to get A-Raj and he got him. So, I mean, we'll see. A-Raj could be interesting this year. What did he get A-Raj for? Like, I don't think it was too much, right? I mean, A-Raj was probably, it's 14. So, okay, that's actually more than what I thought, to be honest. But, yeah, like overall too, I guess I'll say this right now, since I just looked at that, like the quarterbacks went way cheaper than what it seems like years past, and just and that was to be expected, because I think the quarterbacks are there. It seemed like it was way deeper this year, as far as there were solid guys that you could get for $1, and there's probably even still solid, like serviceable quarterbacks on the waiver wire that you could pick up. So that makes sense. I mean, yeah, I mean, I feel like I feel safe with Najee and Connor here. He's got to feel good about having those two guys, because they just feel like there's not a ton of competition in those two spots. Like, those guys are going to get the ball, and Debo's got a shot at going off, any given week. And like I talked about his bench guys earlier. So, so he's right there with everyone else. That seems to be a common theme I'll probably have with, a lot of these teams coming up here, but I have no problems with, his team. So let's move on to Thompson here. So, all right, what are we gonna say about Tomps? All right, so you got Dalvin, you got Travis Etienne, which seems like everyone's talking about Travis Etienne this year. And potential breakout for him. But the thing I guess I like most about Thompson's team is his wide receiver 1 and 2, Michael Pittman and Gabe Davis. Just feel like guys that they could like win you a league this year. Like, those guys just seem so, like, I feel like they're just both poised for huge seasons. So I think those are kind of going to anchor him. I mean, if he's got Cook, Etienne, Pittman, Gabe Davis, like, those four guys are going to kind of anchor his team down. And then, I mean, it's really helped that you probably got Gibson at I'm assuming you got Gibson relatively cheap, $17. I mean, probably still like cheaper than what he would have gone 2 or 3 weeks ago, because it feels like once that whole Brian Robinson taking the job from him and everything, it feels like now that Brian Robinson's kind of out of the picture, at least for the beginning of the season, it feels like Antonio Gibson actually might be a steal. Like, it seems like, I mean, that's a pretty cool flex to have. It's just going to be, like, that's going to come down to, will Antonio Gibson, like, how will he look, or if he looks good in those first few weeks, or if he looks bad in those first few weeks, like that might dictate, Antonio Gibson's, rest of season. Like either they stick with him because he looks good, or if he looks bad, they're going to move on to the next guy. So I think the first few weeks for Gibson is kind of important. Um, I guess his bench. I don't know if he's the only person that has a second defense. I feel like he is. I don't know how many other people grabbed a second defense. So I guess that's where I'd say Thompson's really light. Is I think his bench is thin. So that's my, I guess, big criticism for Thompson's team. But I mean, he got his Dallas guy too. So I mean, he got Dalton Schultz. Every Cowboys fan loves Dalton Schultz. So yeah, I mean, it's a very classic Thompson team. Um, so yeah, it should be just fine there. Let's go to Brandon. All right, so Brandon would just, oh man, what do I want to say about Brandon's team? So he was just, I think for me and for probably everyone else, was just a thorn in our side all draft. He was the person that had the most money, throughout the draft. It felt like, yeah, pretty much the whole draft until he had drafted his whole team. Um, so he just, I mean, he saved on, he kind of waited. He didn't get that huge name. I mean, he got Kelsey. I think was like the pick he got super early was Travis Kelsey, and then just kind of waited and waited. And as the rest of our league, we were I mean, we saw that and we were trying to kind of wait as well. We didn't want to nominate anyone that we really, really wanted until like he had spent a little bit. Because it seemed like he just had way more money than everyone else. But, it seems like it's still like he seems like he still got a lot of the guys that we were all kind of eyeing and targeting. But especially like my Dolphins, like he took Edmonds and Waddle. I know those were popular players for that everyone kind of wanted, but um, this is typical Brandon fashion. You see just a ton of red jerseys. Just getting all the Niners. That's just when you look at a Brandon lineup, it looks like this just about every year, just top to bottom. You see a lot of red, and it's a lot of Niners. And but honestly, the deepest team out of all of us for sure. Whether I liked how he drafted or didn't, I mean for sure the deepest team. I mean, I like it. I mean, I have Claypool and Hardman in Dynasty, so I can't hate on those guys. And Walker was obviously a top rookie to be drafted this year. So he's got some fun players for sure. And Hertz was just criminally undervalued. I don't know how he only went for $4 this year. That seemed like I for sure thought Hertz was going to go for at least like 10 or more than that. But and I would have been on him too if I didn't already have Josh Allen. But Hurts for 4 feels like steal of the century, and I just like all of his guys to be completely honest. I mean Devontae to Hollywood to Godwin, Kelsey. I mean I really like all these guys. I want to nitpick it and say screw you Brandon for taking my guys, um, but no, I mean it's pretty good. I mean, I guess the one thing I'd say is like, I mean, you can't play your bench guys, right? I mean, so I could say like, I mean, you did spend a lot or a decent amount on some of those bench players that you might not ever use. But I mean, we all know that's not true. I mean, he's guys get hurt, I mean, every week. So, um, I mean, his team will be good, and he's deep. So I'm sure he's happy with what he has coming out of the draft. So let's go on to the next person here. Let's go to Devin, Mr. State. I like that he changed his name to Mr. State because that is truly what his team is all about. He's got the 3 Iowa State players. He's got Brees, he's got Montgomery, and he's got Alan Lazard. So I'm glad he changed his name to that. That's Devin's team. And then his quarterback, it's just I mean, Stafford is that college frat dude. He's got those vibes. So I mean, this is a Devin team through and through. Um, you know, I think it's man. I'm rooting for his team. I mean, I guess I'll say that. I'm definitely rooting for. I like all these players. Like they're all guys I want to root for. So hey, Devin, I'm gonna be rooting for your team as long as you're not playing me. So again, here on the bench, yeah, it's a bench. It's whatever. I don't love it, but my bench is no better. So. But yeah, I mean, a lot of fun players, and I mean, we'll see. I mean, Brees Hall. I don't know how. I mean, I think he's going to be all right, but Jets offense, how good is he going to be? I mean, Alan Lazard could be really good. I mean, that could be an absolute stud of a flex. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, love those three receivers: DJ Moore, McLaurin, and Jerry Judy. I mean, those guys all should be solid week in and week out. Um, so, like I said, I mean, everyone's team. It feels like if things go right and they can avoid injury. I mean, I think his team's gonna be just fine. I mean, yeah. So I mean, if he doesn't have to dig too deep into his bench, I think Devin will be all right. All right, so I think that are we halfway through, close to halfway through? Am I going too slow? Maybe. Shit, we're 25 minutes in. I might try to speed it up, but I want to give everyone, ample time. I've talked about a decent amount of everyone else, so I mean, what's the time? I got all the time, so let's keep talking here. So, okay, so we're on Brady's team right now. Okay, so yeah, the big thing for Brady's team was that he, just I think he spent like $15 total on his running backs. So he also just went huge on receivers and went deals on running backs, and but also got Justin Herbert for his quarterback. So it's different, man. It's something that I wasn't ballsy enough to do. I went the opposite and went heavy on running backs and went cheap on receivers. So he he did this, but as James Cook as a running back one, it seems like a risk. He's not. I mean, it might take him a little while to really secure that job if he does. I mean that's definitely risky. And Cordero, at his age, that feels like a risk too. So, and Keenan Allen always with, injury problems. But I like his bench though too, there with, Brian Robinson. I mean, yeah, I mean, I like his bench. I don't know why he hasn't moved Brian Robinson to like an IR. I mean, he's got an empty slot. I mean, that's it. I mean, you're welcome, Brady, if you're watching this. I mean, you got him. He's out, so might as well use that spot. That's what I did for Jameson Williams. So just move those guys that are out. Take that extra, get that extra bench spot. I mean, with only 5 bench this year, it does feel like, I mean, all of those bench spots you really need to utilize. So, and you can't really just like, you can't stash a ton with only 5 bench as opposed to 6. So really got to be careful with like who you have on there. And so yeah, I mean, but yeah, I mean, so I guess if those three receivers and can carry Brady's team, it's gonna be fun. Or I mean, he'll go down with the ship if those guys don't perform. But I feel like the three receivers that's kind of a new strategy that some people are taking this year with that third receiver spot. So it's fun, man. And Herbert's good, and he's got that stack right with Herbert and Keenan Allen. So I love seeing those stacks and what people do there. So another fun team, and Melvin Gordon. That's just another classic Brady guy. So yeah, so I like Brady's team. It's just so much different than what my team looks like. Let's go to Gibbs here. Okay, Gibbs. I don't know if I have a ton to say for Gibbs' team. I'm sorry, Gibbs. I apologize. If you want to talk about your team more, just like give me a call and let's talk, dude. But I mean, running backs are super solid. Those top two running backs, Derrick Henry and Chubb. I talked about Chubb briefly earlier. Chubb is awesome, and I think, like I said earlier, the Cleveland running game I'm high on this year. And then Burrow, I feel like he should only be better than what he did last year. Shit, he finished the season so strong last year. So if he carries that over to this year, um, I think Brady's team's going to be good. AJ Brown on Philly. I mean, he's got Philly, the AJ Brown on Philly and Amari Cooper on Cleveland. I mean, those are and Christian Kirk on Jacksonville. I mean, all three of his receivers are on new teams. So I mean, what are you going to get from those guys? I think better production, but I don't know. Well, I guess that's kind of the question mark here is what are those receivers going to give you? Because I think his running backs are going to do their thing. So it's just what are those receivers going to do for you? And I don't have a ton to say about the bench guys. I know Nico Collins on his bench here is a guy that people seem to like as a potential sleeper breakout, whatever you want to call it. But no, I mean, I don't have much else to say, Gibbs, but just another solid team. His projections 108. I don't know. That seems to be pretty right in the middle, maybe even a higher than average. So, I think he drafted well. similar to what maybe you'd see on like a, if you were to draft, like a snake type draft. This feels like something that you could probably finish with. Would be like a team with like, Henry in the first round, Chubb in the second, maybe like AJ Brown in the third, and then I don't know, go from there. Maybe Jacobs and Burrow, something like that. It just feels like a very like, balanced team all around. So that's Gibbs' team. Oh, are we gonna go to Richard's team? Oh, let's do it. Let's go to Richard's team. Okay, all right, Richie Rich. All right, so he was talking. All right, so the first thing I gotta say is just he was talking shit about Barkley, saying how he's Mister 25 carries for 45 yards, and then he goes out and gets him. So what did Barkley go for? Let's see what did Barkley go for? $40. I mean, I don't think that's like a steal by any means. I don't think that's really an overpay. I would need to like put all the running backs on a list and see what all of them went for. I mean, it seems nothing crazy for Barkley, but I mean Swift as is one. I'd be worried if Barkley was my one, but Swift as one, it doesn't put nearly as much pressure on Barkley, so that should be solid there. I mean, Kyler Murray's a very some people really like him, some people really hate him. I think some people are just out on the Cardinals this year all around. Like it feels like I don't know. I just heard a lot about people just kind of like staying away from Cardinals. I mean, I personally like Kyler, but I was like a little tentative on grabbing him slash other Cardinals, but I personally like him. And then he's also got DK and A Rob. A Rob's another guy that just absolutely burned me last year, so I probably had to stay away. And then I love Zeke as a flex. It feels like people were kind of sleep. I mean, having him as like obviously like your running back one or two, like I kind of said with Saquon, like I wouldn't like that, but I feel like him as your flex. I mean that feels awesome as a flex. Like he feels like the safest flex player ever. I mean, he usually stays relatively injury prone. Knock on wood, but I mean that. So him as your flex is sweet, and I mean I I hate just the vibes and the energy I get from Brandon. I yuck. I stay away from. But I mean, if I'm being serious, I mean he's probably a solid wide receiver three. And then he also has some. I do like some things he's got going on his bench. I mean, with Traylon Burks as his kind of his Titan rookie. I mean that makes sense there as a solid bench guy with potential. I mean, and having Clyde. I mean, so I think we were talking at the draft is like who has the best like running back room, and I think you'd have to throw Richard in that conversation for sure. I mean, with Swift, Barkley, Zeke, Clyde. I mean that's four very capable running backs. I mean, Clyde, say what you want, but he might get overtaken. Who knows? But I mean, as it stands right now, I mean, I think Clyde's the guy. So I mean, what a bench running back to have. If something were to go wrong, you're not like relying on Clyde. I mean, he's there if you need him, and that's kind of nice to have. So I mean, I feel like he's got some depth too. Um, I can already foresee like if this hasn't already happened, I'm sure it probably will. But I bet it already has. I'm sure Richard has sent Kurt the Dak Prescott trade. I don't know what he'd be looking for, but it feels like that's just. I'm sure he's just dangling Dak in front of Kurt right now. I can almost guarantee you it. I'm sure Richard's probably got like 4 or 5 trades sent out. Um, Richard, correct me if I'm wrong, but I guarantee you that trade is either if it has. I mean, it hasn't happened yet. I don't believe. I mean, maybe it has while I'm making this video, but I'm just saying, Kurt, don't take the bait. Don't take the bait for Dak. Um, but I just know Richard. That just feels so Richard. But then Dotson too. I mean, I like Dotson's another guy that everyone seems to be raving about for as breakout guy, and having him on your bench that's like the perfect bench player. But yeah, Richard's annoying. So yeah, his team sucks. He got the worst running backs and receivers, and quarterback kind of sucks. But yeah, so let's get off Rich. Yeah, his team sucks. He's getting Sacco for sure. All right, Nick. All right, here we go. All right, now we're getting into the fun shit. Here we go. All right, so this is just Russell Wilson. I feel like everyone is kind of just interconnected somehow to Russell Wilson. We got he's got Lockett as his ex teammate, and then he's got Sutton, so that's his little Russell Wilson to Cortland Sutton stack. Nick loves Cortland Sutton. And then the running backs, man. This is where Nick's team. He's going to disagree with me, and that's all right. But I I couldn't do it. I couldn't draft two running backs from the same team. Obviously, Nick, Packers fan, so I get it, and I love both of those guys. In a vacuum, I love Jones and Dillon in a vacuum. I just wouldn't want them on the same team. I think they're going to come across that, they're going to have a couple of those weeks where they just play, a really good defense, or, Packers just don't put up a ton of points, or, there's it's going to happen. It's inevitable that, they're kind of going to steal touchdowns away from each other. I personally just don't like that, but I think it's more of a aesthetic thing, maybe more than anything else, where it's like, I just don't like it, but I'm sure it can work. But I think it's just something that I would try to avoid personally. But hey, Nick, you're the Packers fan. I'm sure you love it. You seemed thrilled at the draft to have both of those guys, and I like, like I said, I like both of them. But it's interesting. I guess we'll see how it plays out, because I don't think I've ever done it. Combined, I think it was like 70 some dollars that, between those two guys, which, I mean, that makes sense for those guys. It's just, I mean, couldn't you have spent, 76 on like a McCaffrey, and then, or like whoever you consider as the number one running back, and then slot, and then just you have running back two could be, just another guy, right? So I don't know. I hope it works out for you, Nick. I hope it works out, and I hope, Aaron Jones finishes as the number one running back, and AJ Dillon finishes as the number two running back, and then we can look back at this video and say, Travis, you're an idiot. Hey, I hope it works out for you, man. But that's like the one like criticism I have for your team for sure. Other than that, I mean, you got your solid tight end. You maybe spent a little much on Wilson, but hey, you got your guy, you got what you wanted. So that's always what you got to do. You got to get your guys. You got to enjoy the players you have. So um, you know, he's got the Packers. He's got, he's got even he got Dallas. I feel like that's like kind of Nick's, like, that's Kurt's team. So that's kind of basically Nick's team too. And then he's got, I feel like Nick's third team is the Broncos apparently now. So Nick's got guys on all his favorite teams. So I'm sure he'll enjoy this roster of his. And I mean, it looks solid. It looks solid. All right, so let's go. Oh, are we on? Who do we got left? We got AJ. I think I've already done Ryan, so it's just AJ, Andy, and myself. So let's go. Let's go AJ here. Let's go AJ. All right, so AJ. Oh man, I feel like, okay. So I even told AJ this at the draft. Was just like, I felt like, as we moved on towards the later rounds, or towards the end of the draft, I should say, was he got a lot of the guys that I feel like I was after, and I feel like he got really good deals on, like, guys like Thomas, for example. I feel like he seems like that type of guy that, you know is a great wide receiver three, kind of boomer bust type guy. But even if it is a bust, I mean, it's not like he has a ton of, you know he doesn't have a ton of stock in him. What did he go for? What did Thomas go for? $11, nothing crazy. It's not going to kill you, and he's got plenty of receivers on his bench that can, take that spot, if things were to go wrong. But personally, I don't think things are going to go wrong. I think Michael Thomas is going to be a sweet wide receiver three. And then I know Rashad Bateman and Garrett Wilson are two more young breakout guys, receivers that he could fill in if things were to go wrong for, that spot. But I mean, Jamar Chase, Brandon Cooks, those guys are going to get theirs. Leonard Fournette and Lamar Jackson. Just, those. This has this, the feel of an AJ team. If I were to just, not know, if I didn't know this was AJ's team, and I just went and looked at the players, I could probably tell you this was who AJ drafted. Even Kenneth Gainwell at the end, I have Miles Sanders. So I mean, I think Kenneth Gainwell, that a lot of talks that, he could be the guy to own in Philly. So yeah, he's got a lot of guys. Cam Akers, I talked about Darrell Henderson earlier, so Cam Akers, could lose some touches to Henderson, and who knows how that running back room is going to shape out. But overall, a lot of good players there, and I like a lot of those players. So AJ's team looks good. Definitely a playoff team. If I were to make predictions right now, I think he's certainly a playoff team. Okay, so I think it's just Andy I have left. I really hope I'm not missing someone. Let's just get to Andy. Last but not least, we'll say that. Last but not least, Andy. Okay, so Andy's team, man. I wish I want to talk more shit. I mean, if I were to talk shit, it would be on his bench because I think they're all $1 guys. Not, and I think most benches are $1 players, and Andy's team is one of those people that fall into that category. So I'm talking shit about his bench, but man, his team, he's got scary players. Just Mahomes, McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, Deontay Johnson. Like he's got guys that are gonna. I play in week one, and those guys are scary. So I don't want to admit that I'm not scared. Don't twist my words here. I'm not scared of Andy's team, but he's got some scary players. I will say that. So I will leave it at that with Andy. I feel like those guys are going to put up just. He's going to have some huge weeks. I feel like Andy is, and I set Andy up perfectly for a response on me saying his bench. His bench sucks. Well, bench doesn't score points. Your starters do. So I mean, his team's going to be good. Barring something happens, just like everyone else's team, barring injuries, barring all that good stuff. Chris Olave, as like I mentioned Michael Thomas earlier, but that could just as easily be Chris Olave. So I mean that's just an interesting wide receiver three that has a lot of upside there. I'm not really talking about tight ends. I haven't really this whole video, but just what's weird is like, yeah, what I like though, I feel like I would normally just kind of scroll by, defenses, kickers, even tight end, but like, having that extra wide receiver, it's just like one less position. I'm not just scrolling by, I'm actually like looking at, almost even more so like this wide receiver three, whereas in previous years, it's always just been a kicker, which no one gives a shit about. It's just a kicker. We don't care. Um, but so that's why it just feels like I have more guys to like focus in on as far as like what someone's team really looks like. So I've already enjoyed that, and we've only had our teams for 2 days now. Um, so yeah, that's Andy's team. It looks solid. It's scary for sure, but I'm sure I'll um, win by 30 or 40 like I normally do against Andy week one. All right, and then last but not least is me, I suppose. If you don't like hearing someone boast about their own team, I guess tune out now because just giving you a forewarning on that. That's what I'm going to do here. So I'll try to wrap this up though, man. It's 42 minutes. I hope you guys are not like sitting there absolutely hating this. I promise I'll be quick here. So, all right. So if I'm being completely honest, I think my receivers, you know, are the worst in the league. I think I have all in all, if you were to just take, my three starting receivers and whatever I got on my bench, I think I do think they are, as a whole, probably the worst out of everyone. But at the same time, I think like Mooney and Woods, I mean, they are the number one receivers for their respective teams. So I think they're going to keep like a relatively high floor, for my wide receiver one and two. Robert Woods is so boring. I don't know why I got him. I got him for like $4 or something. It was just there wasn't really many guys left. I just had no money when it came to receivers. But I think those two guys will kind of keep my like I can easily see those guys going for like what 6 catches for 70 yards, and that's what is that? Is that 10 points? So I mean, it feels like those guys are going to get if they get their 10 points, and then Tony seems like a wild card, right? I mean, I think AJ, I heard AJ say like, what Tony Waller, Sanders, they've already got questions. I mean, they're already questionable. Are they even going to play? Like, who knows? Like, and I think that's kind of going to be my, that's going to be kind of the determining factor for my team is, what are we going to get from Tony? What are we going to get from Waller? What are we going to get from Miles Sanders? Like those seem like the three guys that are really can make my team look really good, or my team is just kind of average or bad if those guys just kind of aren't supposed to do what kind of they're projected at. So I mean, obviously I just went huge on my two running backs. I just thought they were good deals, man. I thought both of them. One was 59, one was 61 between Eckler and Kamara. So a total of one. You can just basically say 60 and 60 between those two. So 120, and those are like first round guys if you're looking at like a snake draft. And I just feel like, I mean, I love Kamara. I've got Eckler in Dynasty. I mean, I feel like that just kind of fell the way it did. And then Josh Allen, I felt was cheap too. It was like 20 or $21. So I guess that's just how I'm looking at it. Who knows? Right, wrong, or indifferent? I don't know. I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good about my team. I know much better than when I was last year, which isn't saying much, but I feel a lot better. I wasn't going to go out of the draft or come out of the draft without at least one top running back, and I feel like I got two. So I love that. I love that part. And then I guess Miles Sanders. I wanted someone on that Philly offense. I think I think Philly's just going to be really good this year, and then so I like him as a flex, and then bench guys are bench guys, and I just picked up Osborne and Corey Davis, off waivers, and I don't know, just random players that I thought since my receivers were my weakest part of the team, I thought I'd pick up a couple more there, but I don't know. I think my team looks all right. I mean, I love that. Obviously, the projections look good and everything, but shit, man, who knows? That's fantasy for you. We'll see, man. I'm just excited. First week, I'm not excited that Josh Allen plays on Thursday. That's gonna suck. But I'm excited for this. Get this league started, man. I just can't wait to watch a Sunday come around and full day of football, and I'm ready for all that stuff. So I really do think, like I said in the beginning of this video, I really think everyone's team has a legitimate shot. If it seems like everyone's got some nice sleepers. Everyone's got some nice possible breakout guys that can really boost their team up if things go right. And maybe they have a guy that's one injury away from really being a stud. So I thought that was cool, and so I think these I keep referencing this. It's stupid because I'm probably just because I'm the one, so I just love looking at it. But I think this is probably way skewed. I feel like if this were if they actually had a number that however this algorithm works, I feel like we'd all be really close together. I feel like as you see, just Trevor picks up some random scrubs off waivers and he moves up 2 spots. And I feel like if you saw more people changing players after week one, this is all gonna look it's gonna be chaos. This is all who knows? It could flip. It could flip 100%. I could be last, and Ryan could be first. I think it's that close. I think we really all have good teams. As much as I wanted to talk a ton of shit, I really can't. I feel like everyone's good, and besides Andy week one, that should be I'm gonna start off 1-0, so that always feels nice. But other than that, I mean, I think all the matchups are going to be close, and I'm curious to see if the scores look any different. With a third receiver, if the kicker changing the kicker for receiver is going to change anything. I don't think so. I mean, maybe it's slightly higher, but man, I don't know. I hope this video was all right. It was way longer than I expected. I guess having 14 people and looking at every team, it's tough. It's tough to get it all through, but man, if you got all the way through, send a message in the group saying you got to this point. I'd be curious to see if anyone got the whole 48 minutes. But shit, I need a closing thing. I don't know how I'm gonna close this thing out. I think maybe moving forward, I might, since I don't really I don't have a face cam and I'm not really showing a ton. Obviously this time I showed people's rosters and stuff, but I think if I were to actually keep going with these and the league enjoyed it and people liked it, I think I would do podcasts instead. If anyone knows anything about podcasts, I know I can do I've heard of the Anchor app. I know that's one way of doing it, but I don't know a ton about it. But other than that, I think I was gonna potentially just transition this over to maybe a weekly podcast type thing. I'm still thinking about it. We'll see. I really do or don't mind making these, especially right now when I have the time. But they won't be 48 minutes long. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, so let's discuss that. If you have any actual thoughts or care, just talk to me about it. But yeah, that's all I have for today. 49 minutes. Let's finish this thing out, and I'm gonna upload this straight up to YouTube and then share it with the group. So hope to get this out as quick as I can and hear your guys' thoughts. All right, I will see you guys in the messages. Peace.